The government has recently launched a new higher education funding model which takes effect with the admission of the 2022 Kenya Certificate of Secondary Education candidates into universities and colleges for the 2023-2024 financial year. The new funding framework will be based on categories of vulnerable, extremely needy, and less needy. In this report, we debunk on who qualifies for what in the given categories. Here are the details.
Not only the report.
Following a directive by President William Ruto on the 3rd of May 2023 that sought to repair the higher education student funding model by aligning placement, government scholarship, and loans to the needs of students and their program cost, the Presidential Working Party came up with a new funding model that is based on categories of vulnerable, extremely needy, and less needy. Students falling under the vulnerable and extremely needy band will qualify for 100% government funding. Funding for their studies will be through scholarships and loans. However, Kenyans are still digesting the funding information, with many fearing that the new model is likely to become controversial, especially when it comes to determining who the vulnerable students are and who will access free higher education. Out of the 2022 KCSE graduates, over 45,000 university students and 42,000 TVET students categorized as vulnerable and extremely needy and will be fully funded with the government scholarships and loans. According to the report, the criteria for identification of students to be funded will be 1. Academic performance on KCSE exam, 2. Affirmative action, that is marginalized as defined by the Commission on Revenue Allocation, persons living with disability. 3. Household income, it is classified according to the monthly household incomes. For the household income, for the vulnerable, it will be amounting to 0 Kenyan shillings per month. To extremely needy, it will be amounting to 23,671 Kenya shillings per month and below. For needy, 23,672,000 to 70,000 Kenya shillings. For less needy, it will be 70,000 Kenya shillings and 1 to 200,000 Kenyan shillings. According to the report, determining a student's level of need means testing instrument to scientifically determine the student's level of need varied ways and scores based on parameters. 1. Parents' background, orphan, single parents, both parents, or guardians. 2. Gender, male or female. 3. Course type, STEM, arts, national priority area, etc. 4. Previous school type, private or public. 5. Expenditure on education, siblings in high school or tertiary institutions. 6. Family size and composition, number of children, polygamous, monogamous, age of parents. 7. Marginalization, students or institutions in marginalized counties. 8. Disability, any form of disability. The government has developed and completed the higher education financing portal to receive applications for both scholarships, loans, and bursaries for university and TVET students. Students who will require funding must make formal applications through the higher education financing portal, liable from the 3rd of August 2023 to the midnight of the 27th of August. Most universities are preparing to admit the first-year students in September. From needy and less needy households will get 93% of the government's funding, with the students bearing 7% of the tuition cost. Needy students joining universities will receive the government scholarships of up to a maximum of 53% and loans of up to 40%. The households will only pay 7% of the cost of the university education. Those joining TVET will receive the government scholarship of up to a maximum of 50%, 30% in loans, while their households will pay 20% of the cost. However, continuing students will not be affected by this new funding model and will continue to receive their funding based on the government's existing model.